Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Conversation Daily News. Glad you all could be with us. Well, it's a brand new day. It's a brand new week. It means it's a brand new opportunity. We did something amazing, and it all begins today. Because you have your news headlines coming up on this Monday, have a message from my book Word That Choose to Live By, and in today's entertainment spotlight, last week, had a chance to speak with Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas, the daughter of the godfather of soul, James Brown. She joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the impact of her father, but also the brand new documentary premiering today on A&E called James Brown, Say It Loud. You hear part of that conversation today. Enjoy our broadcast. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Monday headlines. In Mississippi news, Stamp's Super Burgers named one of the best restaurants in the United States, says 16 WAPT. A Jackson resident staple has been named one of the best restaurants in the nation. Stamp's Super Burgers on Dalton Street near Jackson State University has been named one of the USA Today's Restaurants of the Year. I think it was an absolute pleasure to be considered one of the best restaurants in the nation, and to represent the state of Mississippi, we take great pride in that, says Phil Stamps Jr. Stamps is known for massive beef burgers, along with turkey burgers, and a portobello burger, loved by many. I don't know what they put in it. To me, it's like my family spot. My family loves the Stamps burger. If I say no, they look at me like I said something against the law, said longtime customer Anthony Brown. The family-owned business has been in operation since 1986. In national news, a year after Jimmy Carter entered hospice care, advocates hope his endurance drives awareness. Since Jimmy Carter entered hospice care at his home in South Georgia 1 year ago, the former U.S. president has celebrated his 99th birthday, enjoyed tributes to his legacy, and lost his wife of 77 years. Rosalind Carter, who died in November of last year, about 6 months after the Carter family disclosed her dementia diagnosis, lived only a few days under hospice supervision with her frail husband at her bedside. Experts on end-of-life care say the Carters' different paths show the range of an oft-misunderstood service. Those advocates commend the Carter family for demonstrating the realities of aging dementia and death. They express hope that the attention spurs more Americans to seek out services intended to help patients and families in the latter stages of life. It's been massive to have the Carters be so public, said the chief medical officer for the Hospice Foundation of America, based in Washington. It has shed hospice in a new light, and it's raised questions for people to learn more. The Carter family released a statement ahead of Sunday, the 1-year anniversary of their announcement that the 39th president would forego future hospital stays and enter end-of-life care at homes and planes. President Carter continues to be at home with his family, the statement said. The family is pleased that his decision last year to enter hospice care has sparked so many family discussions across the country on an important subject. To be clear, the family has not confirmed whether Jimmy Carter remains in hospice care or has been discharged, as sometimes happens when even a frail patient's health stabilizes. In more national news, after a moment of community pride turned deadly, Kansas City grapples with the aftermath, says the Associated Press. Are you feeling good today, Chiefs Kingdom? Kansas City Mayor Lucas shouted to a sea of football fans fresh from their town's third Super Bowl victory in 5 years. Less than an hour later, with music still blaring and the confetti of celebration still hanging in the air, the mayor and throngs of others were running from gunfire, unsure where it was coming from, desperately seeking safety. At its highest moment of community pride, Kansas City experienced one of 21st century American culture's most traumatic events, a public mass shooting. By the time it was over, 1 woman was dead and nearly 24 others were wounded. Police now blame a dispute among several people. On Friday, authorities said 2 juveniles were charged with gun-related and resisting arrest charges. Additional charges are expected. Wednesday's shooting last week lasted only moments, their immediate aftermath only a couple of hours. But in its wake, the event left a knockback community struggling to make sense of how something so positive could turn so quickly into something so terrifying and sad. In business news, Wall Street falls to a rare losing week, but remains close to its record, says the Associated Press. Stocks slipped on Friday to send Wall Street to a rare losing week, just its second in the last 16. The S&P 500 fell 0.5% from its all-time high set a day earlier. The Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped 145 points, or 0.4%, and the Nasdaq Composite sank 0.8%. A report in the morning on inflation at the wholesale level gave the latest reminder that the battle against rising prices still isn't over. Prices rose more in January than economists expected, and the numbers followed a similar report from earlier in the week that showed living costs for U.S. consumers climbed by more than forecast. And finally, in entertainment news, Bob Marley One Love stirs up $28 million over the weekend. Paramount Pictures' Bob Marley biopic Bob Marley One Love outperformed expectations to debut at number 1 at the box office with a $28 million opening over the weekend. That made the top 5 movies over the weekend. Number 1, Bob Marley One Love with $28 million. Number 2, Madam Web with $15 million. Number 3, Argyle with $5 million. Number 4, Migration with $4 million. And number 5, The Chosen, episodes 4 through 6 with $3 million. Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. It's now time for a message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By. Enjoy. Good Monday, everyone. I'm Cyrus Webb, and welcome to Words I Choose to Live By. Your vision for yourself can be just as big and amazing as that of anyone else. Do not ever feel as though you are any less worthy of success as the next person. Believe that your Creator wants the very best for you, and it will become that much easier to want it for yourself as well. Go for it. You deserve nothing less. Have an amazing Monday. We are part of my conversation coming up with Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas in today's Entertainment Spotlight. Stay with us. You're listening to Conversation Daily News. For Conversation Daily News, I'm Cyrus Webb with your Entertainment Spotlight. Dr. Deanna Brown Thomas joined me on Conversations Live, the radio show, to talk about the impact of her father, the godfather of soul, James Brown, and the brand new documentary premiering on A&E today called James Brown Say It Loud. Here's a bit of our conversation.
Dr. Brown Thomas, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Well, look, of course, we in the South, you love James Brown, and of course, he's loved around the world. As I mentioned, this two-night event is kicking off on Monday, February the 19th. What has it been like for you, Dr. Brown Thomas, to be able to see the early response to it?
Well, people are really, really, really liking it. Those that have already seen it in the media so that they can talk about it have already said that, wow, this is so intense, and want to go back and just watch it a couple more times because you can't get it all at one time. Birthing of James Brown to this new generation, to be able to learn about him. And for those of us that known him and love him over the years, will be able to see never before seen archival footage, audio, and hear never before heard stories from different family and friends.
I've been following you, of course, on social for a while, Dr. Brown Thomas, and for those who are not following her on Instagram, you guys can find her at James Brown Daughter. But one thing I love is that you're able to not only, of course, share your own history and how you've been able to be a trailblazer, but also, of course, continue to be able to share your father's story. You just said something really important, though. What has it been like for you to see how new generations are realizing the impact your father's had, not only on music, but also on culture?
Definitely on culture, through the messages in his music. When George Floyd was assassinated, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud was on the playlist of some of everybody, black, white, just people from all over the world, and especially a younger generation. So to be able to see the culture, listen to his messages and adopt them and live them, and share them, is great. You see them saying, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. You see it on the T-shirts. You see it, how they may wear their hair and just how they live, because they're reading this history and these messages that my dad left.
Cyrus Webb, Conversations Daily News. We thank you all for tuning into this is the Conversation Daily News. But as it goes on tomorrow's more news, message from my book, Words I Choose to Live By, and of course your Entertainment Spotlight. Until then, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversation Daily News today. Let us go make today amazing. Take care.